Hello and welcome to Stylish Chats with Creatives. Today on the podcast, I have Emily Schofield-Seddon with me. Hello, my love.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm pretty chipper for a midweek kind of day.
Good. I'll fill the listeners in a little bit. We know each other because we work together in I would call it a fashion house.
Yeah, okay. That works.
Yeah. And you are, by your official name, a studio sewing operative.
That is correct.
You're a seamstress and prepper, aren't you, for the company that we work with?
Yeah, that's basically what it is. My title makes it sound a lot more exciting, but I'm responsible for pressing clothes, ironing clothes, making alterations and adjustments, and just making sure that everything is looking tip-top before we pop it on our beautiful models.
And it also comes to other stylists because you do stuff for the still life guys as well.
Yes. Not as much probably, but just things like I'll make sure that your shoes are the right way around. I'll make sure that everything's like all the little frills that you've got to... All the really boring details that people overlook. All the frills are done. Underwear's laying flat, all that exciting stuff.
Talking of underwear, you spoke to me about... I'm starting off strong here.
Excellent.
You spoke to me about having to stitch up some crutchless knickers not so long ago.
That is actually more common than you'd expect. Other than probably taking up trousers, the next most common alteration I'll do is stitching together the crotch of some raunchy underwear so our poor models can wear them without feeling utterly exposed. I mean, they do still wear like flesh-coloured underwear underneath, but I mean, just for a bit of decency. Yeah, that's not actually that uncommon. I've had to steam nipple tassels as well. That was fun.
It really boggles me that so much goes through there, because I didn't think that the company that you work for did nipple tassels and raunchy underwear. I guess it makes sense because they do a lot of, cover a lot of fashion basis. Yeah.
I mean, I think it was birthed post-COVID when obviously no one had anything to do, so everyone was just staying home together, getting a bit raunchy. So I think that's kind of where that all came from.
Yeah, that's really like, you must look at it and think, oh, more nipple tassels? Really?
I did, but now it's just as mundane as another pair of socks or a t-shirt. It's just part of the day, all part of the fun.
Isn't that funny how quickly the obscene becomes normal for us in our world?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, such as, you must just, like you say, look at your crutchless pants, and not your personal crutchless pants, the crutchless pants at work, and just be like, oh, 50 of them I got to stitch together today.
That's exactly it. That's all that goes through my mind. And also, they can't be comfortable.
No, not especially when they're stitched up, because the whole idea is that there is a bit less fabric there, so they must be like slimmer than a normal thong or other pants.
I mean, they're definitely not full coverage underwear, are they?
No, I don't suppose they're designed to be full coverage anyway, are they, regardless of stitching?
No. Very true.
So other than stitching up crutchless knickers, what's your other weird thing that you've had to do in your job?
Weird things? I mean, I don't, because again, it's so much part of my routine. I kind of forget that stuff's weird now. It sounds really boring, but I had to sew a towel in half because we bought this giant towel to fit in a bag. It didn't fit, it was far too big. So then it's on me to use all my highly tuned seamstress skills just to sew a towel in half, and
That's weird.
Yeah. It breaks up the day from t-shirts and socks and stuff. Just having to seamstress this towel down to fit perfectly in a bag.
Do you ever sometimes look at the stylist who's bringing you these things and just thinking, what are you talking about?
I mean, it is a bit surreal when someone comes in and they're like, right, you need to sew this towel. And I'm just like, what's wrong with it?
Yeah, that's so weird. But I suppose towels can be so bulky if they're going in a bag. It makes sense.
There was a whole vision. There was a vision about how it was going to sit. We were going to put some sunglasses in it. I mean, you know how much goes into styling. It was a whole big thing. And people are never going to look at it and think, what a beautifully tailored towel that is. Sitting in that bag, being held by that model in her bikini. No one's ever going to know.
That's it. The secret jobs that go on behind closed doors to make these pictures look incredible. That's what it is. So do you mostly seamstress like trousers? Do you have to put darts and stuff in them to make them fit the models a bit better, or?
Yeah, mostly. Thankfully, our fit tends to be quite good. It's more maybe turning up a trouser or taking in at the ankle where it's just not tapered enough. We do occasionally do bigger shoots, like we had a denim shoot not so long ago, and that was a little bit more involved where I had to properly fit them all, put some darts in through the back. But I love fitting days, they're so much fun. I'm taken out of my normal sort of pressing and ironing duties, and I will just sit there with a stylist and the model, and we'll just try these on, right, 2 inches coming off there, try these on, right, 1 inch coming off there, and it's so fast paced, but I really enjoy that.
Yeah, that's quite a nice insight into how fashion big shoots like that can, how much work it takes for them to be produced, because you just look at an image and you kind of take it for granted, don't you, that there's a seamstress, so there's like, you know, lots of other things going on. I feel like people who've never really worked in it just don't know how much goes on. But I mean, I'm sure that's true of any jobs. There are going to be jobs that I won't really understand the behind the scenes of, and I'll just be like, oh, that's cool, not realising how much work goes into it. But I mean, again, do I need to remind you of the towel in the bag under the sunglasses for maybe 2 shots of a single bikini? Yeah, that's it. And I think it's so cool that you are a seamstress as well. Like, I can stitch in a straight line. I've executed 1 pyjama bottoms, you know, from pattern.
Starting point, though.
Yeah, maybe a decade ago, so that knowledge is maybe gone now. But I think it's a really good skill, like, that I really admire. And I want to know how you got to that point so that it's your job, because it must be quite hard to get into if you don't know how.
Yeah.
Don't know if that makes any sense, but
yeah, I mean, honestly, I've kind of ended up where I am through hard work, but a lot of just, honestly, quite a lot of luck. So many people I work with have gone to do textiles or fashion design at university. I didn't. I did criminal psychology, which was
amazing,
fascinating, so interesting. Thankfully, I don't have to use many of those skills at work. But it just started off. I have such fond memories of my grandma when I was really little. She had the most beautiful sewing machine. It was an old Singer with the treadle, and it was all manual. And
lovely.
I just remember her showing me how it all worked and how you had to use your feet to keep it moving. And I just thought, this is amazing. You're using this piece of machinery and you're creating stuff with it. I remember just sitting there next to her, hand stitching like a dinky little dress for my doll, and it's just it's always been such a nice memory. So I've always kind of been artsy, but then when I got to uni doing criminal psychology, I just procrastinated a lot in my last year. I did still get my degree. I did all right, happy days. But when I really should have been writing my dissertation, I was sewing instead. And it started out just with a bit of hand sewing. I made a couple cushion covers. And then I thought, well, why don't I just... This dress is a bit big. I'm going to take that in. And it snowballed, really. I'm trying to think when I really made my first pieces. Probably not until I was maybe around 22, 23. Have I actually made clothes that were wearable.
Yeah.
Whereas now I made my own wedding dress, which I love to tell people about because I feel like that's such a flex. But I just love it.
It's such a bloody achievement to make your own wedding dress.
Thank you so much.
It's insane. And I've seen pictures of your wedding dress, and it is so good.
Thank you so much. I
Just
felt so... Oh, I mean, obviously, it was my wedding day. I felt really pretty. Of course I did. But also, I loved telling people, oh, this dress, oh, thanks. I'd made it. It was just such an amazing feeling.
Cool. Yeah, it's so cool. Like, what a great start to your marriage as well, that you've made something so amazing. It's so, honestly, it's so cool. And I think, like, whenever I see you and you're like, oh, and I've made this, and it's like a racer back top, or it's like a skirt, or it's something, or a pinafore, and I'm like, how have you? I don't know how you've done it. Do you use patterns, or does it just come out of your head?
I mean, kind of. I do sometimes use patterns, but it's all just self-drafted. I've never used a commercial pattern. I could probably work them out, but any patterns I just base off. Either I do my measurements and directly translate it, or I'll just use an item that I've got that I like, but maybe I want the skirt to be a bit shorter, or these trousers to fit a bit tighter at the top. And I've just kind of used that as a guide.
Oh, that's cool.
Thanks.
That's so cool how your brain works like that. Like, I get frustrated. I don't have much patience, even though I have patience as a virtue tattooed on me. I don't have much patience for, like, I want it done instantly. And, like, that's not how pattern cutting and making things works. You have to take your time with it. And I get a bit frustrated because it's so slow. So I really love when people can make stuff and I'm like, this is so cool, you've got the patience to make it and it looks incredible, and then I'm sat there and I'm like, I could do that, and then I get annoyed and stays in a pile.
Oh, definitely. There is the pile of unfinished sewing projects that I just don't show anyone. Like, that is a very real thing. I'm only twirling around my new dress like, oh, I made it, thanks, because it was successful. You've not seen all the half-finished, like, rage quit projects that I've yet to come back to.
I have a pile of rage quit stuff and stuff that I started a cross stitch 18 months ago, and it's only a small hoop. Like, it must only be 6 inches.
Oh,
and
wow, okay.
I've still not finished it. So,
okay.
Yeah. I don't know what that says about me, to be honest. My lack of commitment.
I don't find the same enjoyment in cross-stitch, though, because that you've got to actively be counting and switched on, whereas sewing, I've cut out my pieces, I can stick a podcast on and just run it through the machine, and it's like switching off. Whereas anything like that, like knitting and crocheting, I've never been able to wrap my head around, because you've got to be counting and focused and... Nah.
Yeah. See, my nan can knit. My dad's mum can knit so well. She knits, you know how you were saying you just turn off while you're sewing?
Yes.
She knits like that. And she has knitted my nephew some stuff. And, like, she's knitted, like... is it RL patterns? Like, there's the patterns into the jumpers.
Yes, but sort of interlocking diamonds almost.
Yeah. And they're absolutely insane. And she's like, oh, it just took me 2 hours to knock that up. And she doesn't use a pattern. She's just sat there like...
That is actual witchcraft.
Like, insane. And yet I get some wool out and some knitting needles and I drop stitches. I can't count properly. Like... It then ends up wonky and there's bits out everywhere. And heaven forbid if I try and bloody crochet, I just crochet a ball. It just ends up getting really tight and going into a ball.
I mean, I'm not destined to knit or crochet because I've got 2 cats. So imagine, like, a ball of yarn, threads everywhere, and these 2 dreadful cats looking like... You know, when cats go all silly and their eyes go massive and they're ready to pounce, like that thought alone is stressing me out. I actually had to kick both of them out to be in this room to record, because otherwise you would have a cat sat on the laptop right now.
I know one of them likes to sit on your back. Is that Atari?
Yeah, that's my girl Atari. Yeah, she'll just come and sit on your back. Like, there have been moments where I've been doing my makeup in the morning and maybe I've been hunched over or something, and she'll just come and sit across my shoulders on the back, just like, thank you, Mother, for this comfortable place.
And you're like, right, now I can't move. I'm the Hunchback of Notre Dame all day. The cat in the back.
Texting work, like, I'm going to be a bit late. Sorry. There's
got to detach the cat. That's so funny. Oh, I also wanted to give your new little business a little shout out as well. Your Chronic Cuties.
Oh, yes.
Would you be able to tell me more about that?
This. I'm glad you asked. So this is something I've just recently, I've had the idea for a while, and I finally sat down and just thought, you know what, it's never going to go anywhere. Let's just put it out there. So I have launched Chronic Cutie, and I make fun accessories for medical aids. So at the moment, I make crutch covers, I make cases for inhalers, and I make pouches for epi-pens.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, I'd love to expand. I'd love to collab with maybe someone who has a wheelchair so I can make a really cool back piece. But,
yeah,
you know, we'll get there. Anyone who wants to collab, though, please get in touch with me.
Yeah, but for sure.
It came from my own experiences. I sustained an injury, oh my goodness, 4 or 5 years ago now. And it wasn't even a big event. I tripped a little bit and the stumble must have just loosened something in my knee, and the ongoing ligament damage, tendon damage, it's worn away the bones of my kneecap now. So quite often I do rely on a crutch just for mobility, and they're so meh. Like I'm not particularly colourful today, but I've always got colourful hair. I do love a bit of rainbow. And I just look at this grey medical clinical crutch, and it made me feel so ugly using it. Mm-hmm. So I thought one day, right, this is it. On my lunch break, I've got these scraps of like sequiny glittery fabric, which was the worst thing to use. It was so frustrating. And I just made the most basic tube that had some ties at the top just to put on it to make it a bit more interesting. And the difference it made, not so much even just within myself, but people's reactions to me. Because it is a sad truth that you do get people reacting to you differently if you are using a visible medical aid versus them perhaps maybe if not. And just seeing people going from kind of pitying, like, oh, you poor thing, come over here, there's space here, to suddenly like, oh my god, I love that. It sends the message of I'm taking ownership back over this.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Chronic conditions are absolutely okay. Chronic itself is not a bad word. And this is kind of where it came from. I just got so many compliments on this crutch cover, and I made a Halloween one because I love Halloween. It's currently got a little winter jacket on, made of like purple fur to match my hair. And I thought, why not make this something fun and accessible for people who maybe don't have access to crafting materials or can't themselves sew. So this is what I'm doing. And it's amazing. I'm really, really enjoying it. And it just feels so cool to be a part of something so meaningful to me.
Yeah. And I think you're right. I think it is going to highlight other people's... Not highlight, maybe that's the wrong word. It's going to make other people feel happier and make it more of a highlight, I guess, than it just being like that mediocre grey crotch that your grandma's got a pair of in the cupboard. Like, it's, you know, it's something that you need to help you day to day. So why not make it like funky and...
Exactly. People put cool accessories on their phones. People put key rings on their house keys. This is something that I use just as much as these items. So let's make that look cool as well.
Yeah, why not? I can't wait to see any other designs that you come up with. I've seen a pink fluffy one, crutch cover that you've done as well, which looks so good.
Oh, it's adorable. My client got that yesterday, and they are so beautiful. They're very into like their soft pastel pinks, and they're very kind of fairy core. and they look beautiful, and then seeing it on their crutch, I was just like, this is the feeling right here that I want to capture. Just seeing this now fitting with your aesthetic so perfectly. Yeah, that was really rewarding.
I think it's really cool. And there's something to be said about doing something that brings you joy. And
yes,
like also is making something that could make you feel quite depressed, I imagine. And cheering it up and just kind of being like, do you know what? Like you say, like the key rings, like it's something I've got to use every day. So why not make it look like it's going to fit in with who I am? Like,
exactly.
Makes absolute sense.
Exactly. Like I said earlier, it's just about bringing back that ownership over something that you maybe otherwise might feel like you don't have much control over.
Yeah. And I can understand that too. That feeling is sometimes you do feel with your chronic illness, sometimes you do think like, oh, this fucker's taken over my life.
Yeah.
And even if it's like, if it's a little thing like having a crutch cover, or I don't know, for me it's having like a quirky like hot water bottle cover. Do you know what I mean? And it just makes you feel a bit more like you, even though it's also, even though you've got to cope with this chronic illness, but you've got to, you can still be you. It doesn't have to overtake you. You
are an individual with a chronic condition, and you're not just a chronic condition. And it can be hard on some days to remind yourselves of that. But then if looking over and seeing your epi-pen pouch or your crutch cover looking all cute and sparkly, if that just gives you that little boost to remind yourself that actually, no, I am a person first and my medical status second, then, I mean, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm hoping to do.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, Emily.
Thank you so much. I've had such wonderful comments. I'm so excited about it.
I'm really excited to see where it takes you, actually, because I think it's something that there's a lot of asthmatics, myself included.
I mean, same.
There's like a lot of people with different chronic illnesses, you know, who can relate to that feeling of like, oh shit, is this all I've been dealt with? Is this it now? And actually that little bit of sparkle, that little bit of like, kind of fuck you back to the chronic illness.
Well, honestly, yeah, why not?
Like, you know, and I think I cannot wait to see where it takes you, because I think you're onto something here. I really do.
Fingers crossed. I'm really hoping so.
Yeah, I'm like literally rooting for you. I'm sharing it all. I'll link it when this goes live. I'll link it under the episode as well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
So if anyone has a little inhaler and wants a little cover or a crutch cover or wheelchair back commission, that'd be...
I mean, I'm more than happy to take commissions as well. These are just the 3 main products that I know confidently how to make. But if you've got anything a bit more specialist, drop me a message, because I'd love to learn more about it.
Yeah, I think it's so cool. Honestly, you're so cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'm gushing. I'm fangirling. I love you a bit.
We're cool. And there's me telling everyone, like, I'm going to be on my friend's podcast today. She's so cool.
Well, this is what life's about, is hyping up your mates and hyping up their passions and supporting them, and, you know, it's all about bringing everybody together. And especially as women, I think we have been beaten down by lots of different things, and it's good to all get together and support each other. And I think it's really important. I think it's important to have hype people around you and being like, yeah, shouting from the sidelines, you know?
I mean, I feel especially over these last few years, everything has just been so fucking miserable, hasn't it? There has just been doom and gloom literally worldwide. So anytime you hear even a tiny little success story, if it's like, oh my god, my friend, she's finally started that podcast she's been on about, yeah, you go! Or even down to like, I've been really depressed, but I managed to get up and brush my teeth today. That should still be like a yeah kind of moment, because I think the days of like, you're so cringe, they've gone. I don't care what your weird interests or victories are. I want to hear about them and I want to celebrate them with you.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. And quite frankly, the weirder the better, to be honest.
Like, I may not know anything about antique train engine manufacturing, but if that is your special interest, tell me all about it. Make me a PowerPoint presentation, because I want to know.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same. And I think you're right. I think the last couple of years have just been dog shit, really, for everybody in a non-polite, sorry mum, I just swore again, in a non-polite way. And it's been really tough. And I think it's been really tough on people's mental health. I think it's been tough on people with chronic illnesses. I certainly found that my endo was way worse. And then access to medical care was also worse because there's a backlog.
Yeah.
So I think there's been a lot of things like that. And then, people actually having to spend an awful lot of time together just shows cracks and all sorts.
Yeah, it really was a make or break kind of time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You really saw the best and the worst in people.
Yeah, and I still think we're coming out of that at the moment. I still think there's this extreme of some people are really kind and really nice, and then some people are pretending to be that and they're little arseholes. And I think we're still in that, coming
People
out of everybody.
Quite got rid of their masks. Literally and metaphorically.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Did you make loads of masks during COVID?
Yeah, I made quite a few. If you had a COVID birthday, chances are you got a personalised mask off me. I am in the rare and exclusive double COVID birthday club, though, because my birthday's in March, so it was right at the beginning of the first big lockdown, and then the year after things still weren't all properly up and running again.
Oh, that's so shit.
I mean, the first one was a bit miserable, because we were literally looking should we go to the cinema? No, they've just closed. Oh, let's go for a bit. Oh, no, they've just shut down. As we were looking, the announcements were coming out, no, we're all shut. But then the second birthday, I was like, right, fuck it, let's just get a takeout and stay in our pyjamas and watch horror movies. I've accepted it, and that's going to be great.
Yeah. It was so weird, wasn't it? I was just so... I was so thankful at the time we had an allotment, and I was just going down. At the time, you were allowed to go down the allotment.
Yeah.
So despite me being the youngest by about 60 years, I was still allowed to go down and kind of socialise with the old people, which made me feel a bit guilty, really. I was very conscious that I was down there and I was relatively healthy, and quite young. But no, these old allotment goers would just come to the edge of mine and Naif's plot and be like, oh, you're doing that wrong. All right, cheers. It's
I love that.
Yeah, so cheeky. And then I went back to work for a little bit, and then I went back on the lottie I don't know, say 3 weeks later, and they were like, and where have you been? I'm like, at work.
This is your work now.
Yeah, honestly, that some of them treat it like their work. There was little gangs of old biddies and oh, I can't believe you sold you. Oh my god, yeah. And we bought this greenhouse off one guy, and it was £100 or something. So I was ferrying the bits backwards and forwards or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then another guy from the other side of the allotments was because our lottie pitch was right in the middle. And he was like, oh, I can't believe he sold you that for £100. Oh, that was too expensive. Oh, I can't believe he's done that. I thought, it's a second-hand greenhouse. I don't care. I just wanted the greenhouse.
I love as well that it's called the lottie. That's what the cool people call it.
Yeah, I certainly was not cool down there. They just literally were torturing me. They were like, oh, a young person just started. It was just started on me. They were like, oh, can't believe you're doing that. Oh, you don't really want to grow your courgettes there now, do you?
Oh my God, the scandal.
Oh, honestly, utter scandal. One of the guys, in all honesty, one of the guys was 90, and he first started on that allotment when he was 17, and he used to have 3 plots, and these plots are about 30 metres long by about 10 metres wide, so think the size of a swimming pool.
Wow.
And he had 3 of them at one point. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
And let me tell you, he did not look 90, but he certainly acted it. Yeah, he was one who would be like, oh, you need to slow down when you're driving down the allotment. I'm like, I'm driving at 3 miles an hour. I cannot physically drive any slower. Please. Just let me get to my fucking pitch in peace.
Oh, what an icon, though. He sounds amazing. I want him on my zombie apocalypse team, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you cut that guy in half, he's just pure vegetables inside.
He's just part plant at this point. Just out there photosynthesizing his best life.
Yeah. I just wish I'd got a picture of him because, like, he was just, his face was so iconic, you know? Just, like, this cute little, like, old guy with his red cheeks and just, yeah. He was dead cute, but he did used to tell us off all the time.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, it was like having, like, 20 grandparents at once.
Oh, that is a lot when you put it like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were cute. It was nice. And it, like I say, it just got me out of the house because I think I could have got really depressed really easily.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people did. Like, I definitely got really anxious.
Horribly so. It was just that, just utter uncertainty, wasn't it? You just, no, it was horrible. I remember so clearly. So for a while, a lot of supermarkets had the 1 person per household per trip rule, didn't they?
Yeah, not that anyone was bloody checking anyway.
I mean, no. No. But at this point, yes, this was after my first operation, before my second operation. So at this point, I was, again, relying on a crutch. So it just made the most sense for Matt to be our household spokesperson, to go and get, you know, our beans and pasta and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember the day they said, we're now lifting this rule, you can have up to 2 people per household come Monday or whatever. So Sunday night, I actually didn't sleep. I was so excited to go to Tesco the next day with Matt.
I mean, I also know that feeling.
It's so tragic. Like, it's funny, but just that was the state of the world. That felt like Christmas Eve. Like, I wonder what Mr. Tesco's gonna bring me. Like, it was just this sheer giddy excitement. And just looking back, I'm like, what the girl? Are you okay?
You've just unlocked a memory for me, though. We went shopping the week before they announced the lockdown.
Okay.
So at work, I was working on a different job for a supermarket, and we'd noticed some of the product wasn't coming through, like, to shoot. Probably in the February time we noticed this. So we were like, oh, there's supply issues. Obviously hadn't really heard of what COVID was.
Yeah.
And then I went to go to the supermarket after work, and the food ex had been in that day, and they were like, oh, you know, we're struggling to get stuff, like, we're not going to be able to shoot these recipes because we just can't get items. And we went to a huge Tesco in Stockport. There's an absolute huge one. And I had a panic attack in Tesco because it was like a zombie apocalypse. People like pushing past people. There was nothing on the shelves. And we went at, say, like, what normally is a good time to go, like 8 o'clock in the evening or something.
Oh no.
And it was like people rushing round, and we stopped and chatted to this woman, and she was like, I don't know what's going on, but it's just weird. People have picked up so much stuff. You couldn't get hold of flour, like nothing.
I mean, everyone remembers the great toilet roll fiasco, don't they?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, why do people hoard toilet roll?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, it was just horrible, wasn't it? And then I really struggled going back into the supermarket. Even to this day, I have to wear headphones going around the supermarket now, where I used to love going and having a mooch. I don't like it now.
Yeah.
And it's so weird, isn't it? So weird.
I think we're so much more aware of everyone now because there was, you know, certain death if you dare get within 2 meters of another living human. So I think we're just all so much more yeah, just so much more aware of our surroundings because we've had to be.
Yeah. And I think also it made me definitely, for sure, very cautious of who I was close to. So a couple of people at a different job, again, had diabetes or, other long-term illnesses. And then that makes you aware. But also I felt getting a little political, I felt the government pitched everybody against each other at this point. And then people were like, well, what about me? What about me? What about me? Rather than being a collective community.
What about us?
What about us as a community of people? But yeah, I wish I'd written down a day-to-day diary over COVID, because there's stuff that I'm not going to be able to remember. And like when the kids who were born, friends' kids and nephews and stuff who were born in 2020, 2021 are going to be like, what was it like? And I'm going to be like, the apocalypse, mate.
Actually kind of was, though. Like, we lived through a future history lesson.
Yeah. They're going to be learning about it in school in like 10 years' time.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, just
getting calls
insane.
off your niece and nephew and grandchildren, like, what was it like? And you're like, well, there was no toilet roll.
Yeah, and I got a panic attack in Tesco's.
Yeah. Well, we were, Matt had actually proposed in the September, and then the following March was when everything kicked off. So we were trying to plan a wedding, and I am so grateful that we didn't actually have to end up moving anything, because unfortunately I do know a lot of my friends who had to postpone or had to move things, so we were extremely lucky. But trying to plan a wedding in lockdown was so surreal. Like, to think, oh my god, we're going to have, 80, 90 people in a room dancing together eventually. Madness.
Yeah. It was mad to even think that, like, you were allowed to go to a gig or something again.
The first cinema trip we went to post-COVID, I felt really miserable. It was a very, very quiet cinema. What we were seeing was a bit niche as well, but it was just, I guess a lot of people were still a bit anxious about going out, which, understandable. And I just remember thinking through the entire thing, this is so bloody loud. Why are we doing this? I was cold and it was too loud. I just wanted to go home.
That's so funny. I can't remember what... I do remember what we did. We went to... This is going to show my age. We went to an English heritage thing. So we got English heritage cards. Emily, I'm rock and rolling at 35.
I mean, that sounds great. I'm going to be honest. I never know what to expect. And you're like, this is going to show my age. It could be anything. So, okay. I'm with you.
And I can't remember whether it was what castle it was or something. So driven there, and I was like panicking on the way, like, oh my god, there's going to be so many people. You'd had to book in your time slot or whatever.
Okay.
And then it was a one-way system. And Nath was like, at that point, Nath was working for a telecoms company. So he was still in and out of people's houses during the pandemic. They sent him in and out. And he was like, I don't know what you're worried about. It's just a cold. It's fine. And I don't know why. I was just like, oh, people. And I'm a really people person. And I literally was like shuddering, like, oh, there's people close. Oh, and it just really like panicked me. But so our first trip out wasn't as fun as the cinema. It was a walk around a castle.
No. I mean, that still sounds quite good though. After
it was pretty
locked
good
in isolation, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, like with the dog as well, we managed to luckily... I like not sneaked, but like I went out with the dog and then went to took her back and then went to the allotment. So I managed to get out quite a bit. But yeah, our neighbours two doors down, I don't know if I've told you this, they were having parties and stuff. And then one day they brought a horse back in their garden. Now this is when...
God. I think you've told me this before, but by all means, please refresh my memory, because I also feel like everyone else is going to want to hear this too.
Yeah, this horse, I was big. So it was also I can't even, like, it was brown and white. It kind of looked like a cheap Shire horse, probably is the best way of it, you know. And so she's never going to listen to this, so whatever, I'm just going to tell the story. So she tied it up to the telegraph pole out the front to get his hair cut, right? The guy who came and cut it, I don't know where they found him, but anyway. So it's got like this bag of hay while it's having its hair cut. And then they've put it through the garden gates. The garden gates, what, like 4 foot wide?
Yeah.
To get in the back garden. Bear in mind, I was on a housing estate in Stockport. And this garden wasn't huge by any means. And it had a third of it was the shed. And then a third of it was, what was grass. And then the other third was kind of patio, because she had four kids, 3 dogs, 2 horses, and her brother was living in the shed next to the horses.
I love how you just tacked on brother at the end. 4 kids, however many, 3 dogs, 2 horses, and a brother.
Yeah, and so we were like, is her brother living in the shed? But it turned out he was living in the shed, but there was a wall in between him and the horses. But it ended up not just being 1 horse, they brought a second horse in. Right? So I'm out in the garden, right? And me and Nath are chilling in the garden, and he went, did I just hear a neigh? Or is that my mind playing tricks? No. And then somebody else in another garden, because all our gardens backed onto each other, somebody else shouted out their window, oh, look, the family hamster has arrived.
Oh my God.
So literally one of the hottest summers, she had 2 big horses. I know they count horses in hands, but I mean, it was tall. One of them was taller than me. And then when we were about to move last year, the neighbour the other side of them was like, oh, are you moving because of these neighbours? They were troublesome neighbours, you know, I'm not going to lie. And then we were like, well, yeah, kind of, you know, and pandemic, we want a bit more space, whatever. And then she went, oh, you know the horses? And I was like, oh, God, what is she going to tell me now? And she went, oh, you know, one of them actually died in the summer in the heat, and they had to get a crane to get it out, and it cost them $5,000 to get this horse out of their back garden. Yeah. Emily's doing a very shocked face.
I am. That doesn't translate well to a podcast, but I'm speechless.
Yeah.
Like, I want to
Isn't
kind
that
of
mad?
nervously laugh, but fucking hell, that poor thing.
Yeah. I mean, the poor fucking thing living in the garden. I rang the council, the RSPCA, and they were like, well, it's got food and water and shelter, it's fine. And I was like, no, it's not fine. Like, that's not fine at all.
That's absolutely no fit place to keep even 1 horse, let alone 2.
I mean, I have pictures of it. I'll add it to the Instagram. But it was like one of the horses was taller than like a 6-foot fence, like leaning over to my neighbour's garden to eat his bushes and stuff. I mean, he did the bush trimming a bit of a favour for my neighbour, but yeah, it was just insane. You know, and just like
Poor thing.
Like, I really felt for the horse, and then sorry, my tummy is really growling. And I really felt for the horse, and that my tummy isn't growling because I'm thinking of the horse.
I know, I was going to say. Crispy balls.
Meatballs.
Wow, that was a throwback to the whole horse meat controversy. Jesus Christ.
That was so long ago. The things my brain holds on to.
I'm the same. Nothing useful, nothing helpful. Random facts from 12 years ago, I'm on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, mine's forgotten some key memories as a child, and then things that I'm supposed to do next week, and then it's remembered that the horse meatball thing was a scandal. I mean, that's got to have been 20 years ago now, right?
I don't know. No. It can't have been that long ago. Because, like, I remember being an adult and remember it happened, like, remembering it all going down.
I mean, you say this, though. I remember stuff as an adult. And then I'm like, oh shit, I've been an adult for nearly 20 yees. If you count it from like 16, 17. So I'm like, a lot can happen then.
Don't say that.
Yeah, it's all this 90s fashion that's coming back that's got me. I'm like, what do you mean there's inflatable bags are coming back?
Oh, but I loved them.
Me too.
Completely impractical, but I loved them.
Tammy Girl is a thing on ASOS now again. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the memories.
Honestly, it's like taking a trip down memory lane on there at the moment. I'm like, oh, I remember that. I'm sending it to my sister. Like, do you remember we had one of these? We had one of these. We had one of these.
Oh,
like,
incredible.
Those butterfly tops that were like just a sequined butterfly that covered your nipples and then had like little laces around the back. Those, the like little crop tops, all the stuff that I didn't look good in as a teenager and I certainly don't look good in as a mid-30s woman now, but just the memories.
Oh, I love it.
The memories.
Everything was so glittery and shiny.
Oh yeah, and I remember I had some pedal pushers that had glitter sprayed on them.
Oh, fabulous.
I'm sure my mum's got a picture of them somewhere as well. They were insane. My dad was like, do not sit on the sofa because you're just going to get glitter everywhere. So they were literally
little glittery arse prints everywhere you've been.
Yeah.
Like I think they were literally snail.
Yeah. Honestly, I think they were banned inside the house.
You've just now in turn unlocked one of my memories. I remember going to a school disco. So obviously like the height of fashion in white pedal pushers. I had quite chunky shoes, which would be quite cool today. Like chunky slide-on shoes with straps that had like little mirrors on it, like what you'd find on a mirrored disco ball.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would wear those today. And then
they sound incredible.
Right. And then a purple and white asymmetric bedazzled top. I think it was maybe like one shoulder. And then to match my purple top, little clip-in purple hair pieces. I thought I was the hottest shit ever. I felt so cool.
You sounded like it was cool.
Honestly, though, I'd probably wear that all right now.
Yeah, you just described something that I'd probably wear, aside from white jeans, you know, just in case I sharted. I mean, you never know.
I was going to say that's always a risk. I don't mean you specifically.
Well,
I mean,
you're not wrong. I do remember. Now we're unlocking memories. Here we go.
I love it. Bring it on. Let's do some therapy while we're here.
Yeah, this is what this podcast's all about. So I remember we used to be part of the swimming club because my mum was a swimming teacher.
Okay.
So she was a coach, and we used to have. Hold on, because this is wild.
I'm so.
But
ready.
we used to have parties, right, in the summer and at Christmas.
Okay.
But the hall they hired out was at the prison.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
So
that's probably going to sound awful to anyone listening with headphones.
So, for people who don't know...
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. I don't know where that was going, but I wasn't expecting that. What a roller coaster.
Hold tight.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So they used to throw these parties at the... So it wasn't actually in the actual prison, but it was on the prison grounds, and then there was the wall. And this is a grade A prison. This is like... It was built when we were little, so it was built about 30 odd years ago.
Okay.
And on that note, my mum thought it was a great day out for her two children to go and have a look around the prison before they put prisoners in it as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't remember this, but
okay,
apparently
probably repressed.
Yeah, for a reason. And so the swimming club used to hire out, it must have been cheap to have this hall anyway. So they used to hire it out, and we used to have like a disco or whatever. And I was really struggling with what to wear. I think I was like preteen, so maybe like 12.
Oh, okay.
So my mum was like, oh, well, just borrow my like skirt. So she had like a pleather skirt. So I had that. It was like a mini skirt.
Okay.
And then I had like a fishnetty type top on.
Fabulous.
So basically, I looked a bit like a prostitute. And my mum was like, oh, you know, put your jacket on as well. I think this was like in the winter as well.
Oh, okay.
So I'm there and I was just like, it felt a bit uncomfortable, like as you do when you're preteen anyway, don't you?
Yeah, it's an awkward age at best.
Yeah, I mean, like now the outfit sounds pretty cool, but at the time, I'm sure it had some glitter on it as well, like some sparkly glitter type thing. And I just remember, like, I refused to take my coat off all day, like all night, because I was just so like, oh, I just feel so uncomfortable. I just didn't feel comfortable at all. It might have been the prisoners shouting over the wall because there was party going on, but you know.
Oh my God.
Someone I know actually got had their wedding reception there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I are both very, like, we're very spiritual. The thought of having a celebration of something like that in a place that holds so much negativity. Oh, I don't like that. I mean, I'm sure they had their reasons. I wish them every happiness. I really hope that they are enjoying a strong and happy marriage. But, oh, I don't like that. Gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like that.
Yeah, gave me the heebie-jeebs as well. I was just like, oh, that you can't get a nice picture anywhere. It's all like terracotta tiles and painted magnolia. Like,
oh, I hadn't even thought of that. There's me like, oh, sucking up the negativity, and you're like, and you can't even get a good picture.
No, like, are you going to look back at it and be like, oh, look, there's the prison walls behind me?
Oh God,
just horrible.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I think the only reason we got the hall when we were doing like swimming club parties there was because one of the coaches was a prison officer. So I think he got it for free.
Was a prisoner.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you've just described my mum. No, I'm kidding. She's gonna bloody kill me.
Off very well in this podcast.
She's gonna bloody kill me. Thank God she's at the end of France.
I know you've got a little way to come. To start running.
Yeah. I'll be in the Outer Hebrides. Bless her. No, I remember our outfits being well weird at that age. Like, so that was like late 90s, early noughties. Like just, the Bohemian top type things as well. And
oh, yes. Yeah, I had at some point like 3/4 length denim trousers, fake pink Uggs, and one of those big ponchos that were in for all of 20 minutes and then just vanished again. Like, where did they all go?
To my mum's house. Sorry, Mum. You're on blast.
Poor Mum. I don't know what she's done to piss you off this week.
Nothing. You're just bringing up stuff that's reminding me. So, like, my mum, I love her. Love you, Mum. Love you. But so there's a running joke in my family that when the ponchos came out, my mum fell head over heels for ponchos, right?
Okay.
And I told her several years ago that they just aren't cool anymore. They're just not nice. Aww. And she's like, but they're practical because, you know, when they were going to gigs in like the Milton Keynes Bowl, which is outside and stuff. And I was like, it might be practical, but they're fugly. Just stop.
Aww.
And then every time I went home...
I'm sad now. Like, no, your mum could rock her ponchos.
Emily, stop encouraging her.
Okay.
So I'll send them all to you next time I'm in France.
Oh,
I'll just
no,
go
I take it all
them
back. Please don't.
So yeah, excuse me. Just made me laugh.
I'm so sorry.
So yeah, she had some really horrible ponchos, and then it became a thing that like every time I went home, there was a new poncho in her wardrobe.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, they're just horrible.
If this is the game, though, you and I love a charity shop. So this is now like game on to find the ugliest charity shop poncho. This is on. This is happening.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh no! like, there's a place for them. I think the bin.
I mean, I don't really honestly feel like I can comment because I am sat here right now in my black and white hoodie, and it is the best thing I've ever purchased in my entire life. So
Yeah.
I don't feel like I can sit here and be like, ew, ponchos are so lame, when I'm just wearing a giant hoodie.
Well, I'm gonna hold my hands up. I've got a teddy fleece fake hoodie and I love it, but it's not the same as a poncho.
I would say, I mean, I'd never wear this out, but that is a lie. I have definitely, like, popped to the shop in my hoodie.
Yeah, I was just thinking then, I was like, have I worn mine out? But I've definitely worn it out on the street to move my car, but not actually gone too far out on it. But I probably would go to the little local shop in it.
Oh, I've like done full on food shops, just not giving a shit in it before.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, we've got a little Aldi literally across the road. The states they see me in, they'll see me like to get pre-drinks when I'm looking all glamorous, ready for a night out. They've seen me like in my Halloween costumes over the years on my way to the party. They've seen me the day after, like hungover, like with my eyebrows and makeup like down my chin and just no shits given. After Halloween, when I've still got the fake blood stains all over me.
Amazing.
In all my various ratty pyjamas. Like, they are... Whenever I pop into Aldi, it must be such a treat. They're never gonna know. Like, they're never gonna know what they're gonna get.
I wonder if they've got Emily Bingo, where they're like, oh, she's glamorous today. Oh, definitely fucking hungover.
Oh, there's the Udi. She must be rough today.
Have we seen her in the last 3 days?
You know, I go there so often. Just for little things like, oh shit, we need more ketchup. Run across the... I don't run. Hobble across the road. And I just think, they must... I genuinely think they'd notice if I went missing faster than my actual husband, because I'm in there every day.
I've just got this image of Matt being like, have you seen my wife? 3 weeks later, and they're like, yeah, we've already found her. She's not come home yet.
He was just like, just thought she was in bed. Just thought she was tired.
Yeah. Thought she'd gone out.
Yeah. Bless him. He'll just be watching Gilmore Girls for the 17th time, completely unaware.
That's a good show.
Do you know, I've never watched it. But it looks like just nice, fluffy, everything is all okay in the end kind of swish.
Yeah. I watch it every autumn. Naif's like, it's autumn now because you started Gilmore Girls again. It's true. It's so good.
Aww.
It's so good. It's so like, you'd like the fashion as well. Like, it's quite, 90s, early noughties fashion. It's quite, brings back some memories,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite good. I think you'd like it. I think you'd like it. Give it a bash next time.
Yeah, I do like some swish. I mean, I just love that my, like, heavy metal part-time goth husband. I've just downgraded him. Sorry, Matt. That he just sits there with, like, his wall full of heavy metal CDs, just watching Gilmore Girls with the cat on his lap. It's just really wholesome.
Yeah, it's so cute. That's such a cute image. Oh, bless him.
He likes it when I'm working. Like, obviously we love having a day off together, but one thing he likes when I'm working and he's off, he'll say that this is so cute, he'll have a boys' day. We've got one girl cat, Atari, and then we've got a boy called Thor, who's just this big stripy tabby chonk, and he'll have a boys' afternoon where Thor will come and sit next to him and they'll watch, like, war films together. And I'm just like, that's so cute.
Oh, that's so cute.
I know.
Oh. He's so wholesome.
I know. He's a sweetie.
Oh, see, all these metalheads, they're the ones you need. They're soft as shit in the inside.
Absolutely. Have you seen all the, like, videos on TikTok and stuff of metalheads are really scary, and then it'll cut to metalheads at a gig, and you know, before the artist comes out, they'll have, like, a PA just playing sound. Something will come on, like Barbie Girl, and everyone will be singing along, and it's just like, these are my people. How can you be scared of these people?
Yeah. We definitely, Naif's probably more metal than me, but when we've been to gigs together, I feel like metalheads are probably the nicest people I have ever come across when you're at a gig. Like, we saw the Foo Fighters at the City. I can't think what city, Manchester City's
the
stadium's
is it the AO
called.
Arena now? Is that what it is?
No, the
AO
Etihad, I
Arena?
think.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So we saw them there, and like people were walking past with, you know, like 4 pints in each hand or whatever, because you know, fuck walking backwards and forwards to the bar all night.
I mean, fair.
And everyone was just parting ways. They were just like, "Oh, come through." And they're like, "Oh, are you all right? Do you need a hand?" You know, and everyone's so nice, just really
I love
friendly.
the etiquette of, if you get knocked down in a mosh pit, people will stop and pull you up and make sure that you're okay.
Yeah.
When I was, we're going back now, I must have been about 17, I went to, do you remember when Kerrang did the Kerrang tours, and it was like just 5 different random bands? I went to one of them, and it was during Bring Me the Horizon, and this is when they were like quite a lot heavier than what they are now. I got sucked into the mosh pit. I was stood right far back because I was a bit nervous about this. I got sucked into the mosh pit. Scariest 20 seconds of my life, because when those things are going, like, you can't escape. It's like mob mentality, isn't it? And I got pushed down, and immediately everything stopped. I had like 4 different people kind of grab me and pull me up and make sure I was okay. One girl was like, "Right, come with me. Do you need water? Are you all right?" And I was just like, this is so nice.
Yeah. It's so, I mean, like, I'm not a fan of moshing. I'm one of those people who stand at the back and just observe.
Yes.
But Nath will go. I remember this probably before it was before the pandemic, because I got my hand tattooed, and we'd gone, much to my parents' disappointment, I think. I remember, I'm gonna tangent here, but
okay.
I told my mum that I was getting a leopard head tattoo.
Yes.
And I didn't tell her where it was going to go. And then when they turned up, it was 3 days old. And Mum was like, I didn't think it was going to be on your hand. I was like, well, it's there now.
I know, yeah, like, what do you want me to do?
Like, whoops.
Maybe you should get her a leopard print poncho and kind of bridge the gap between your interests.
Yeah, maybe that will make me hate the ponchos less.
Okay, I'm going to look out for a leopard poncho for you now.
Yeah, maybe that's it. That's it. The more tassels, the better, I think.
Of course. Is there any other way?
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
I'm so sorry. Got completely distracted. So your hand was freshly tattooed and you were at a gig?
Yeah, so we took my mum and dad to see, I think it was the Buzzcocks, actually.
Oh, okay.
My mum's actually a bit of a punk rocker, and my dad quite likes like a bit of rock and stuff. He's a bit more of a chav than my mum. Okay. He used to like Ministry of Sound and stuff.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, and ABBA. Oh, loves a bit of ABBA.
I mean, who doesn't like ABBA though? To be fair.
Exactly. So yeah, we took them to the gig, and then Nath was like, "Oh, is it all right if I go mosh while you guys chill out?" Because my mum didn't want to mosh, neither did my dad. Yeah. And they were like, "Yeah, sure." So like Nath's proper in the middle of it, and my mum was like, "Whoa, Nath's really going for it." And I was like, "Yeah, but normally when it's just us two, he doesn't want to leave me on my own to go and mosh."
Oh, yeah.
So even though I don't mind, like, you know, I'm fine. Yeah. But yeah, so he went and moshed there. But when we saw Slipknot just before the pandemic, thank God we got seats, because the mosh pit, you could see the mosh pit circling round, and they were going in a huge circle, and like Nath was like, "I haven't got the cardio for that." Like, and it just insane. Like these guys were like whipping their t-shirts off and just
yeah. That must have been the same tour that we saw them. Oh no, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a bit longer ago. But when I saw Slipknot, we also had seats. And oh my God, I'm so grateful, because even if I'd just been stood up, just like the way the crowd swells around the mosh pit, it can be quite scary if you're not wanting to be in there.
Yeah, it always looks a bit intimidating, I think.
I love that people enjoy it and find it therapeutic. I would rather sit down and clap nicely.
Yeah. Bit chair dancing.
Oh, I love a chair dance. All about that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I took earplugs to that Slipknot gig, and Nath and his sister didn't, and they couldn't hear for an hour after. And I was like, I put them in, because like Slipknot's not my favourite band, but I was like, I'm not going to go and see them again. And
Okay, yeah.
Is it Pyrotechnics with the fireworks and stuff?
Yes.
They were insane. Like, it's an insane show to go
they
and see.
put on a hell of a show, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. And like, it's one of those bands that like, it's something Nath really like enjoys, but
yeah,
I know their music, but it's not something I'd pick to have on.
Okay.
And so I'm just enjoying it. And then Nath was like ripping me out when we left, and he was like, I can't believe you had earplugs. And I was like, well, you can't hear anything I'm saying. So,
I mean,
you know,
that's very sensible. I remember going, I didn't wear earplugs. I could hear, but it was like ringing. And I feel so bad for the poor taxi driver who brought us home, because we must have just been shouting at each other in the back. Like, was that good? Yeah, that was so much fun! Just...
And he's like wincing, like, guys.
Yes! This poor guy. Have you seen or heard of crowd killing?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I mean, it's pretty accurate. So Matt, like, I like a bit of rock and metal, but again, he's into like the really filthy, like nasty, grotty breakdowns that were all like pig squeals and epic, like djenty guitars. He loves it. And There's this thing called crowd killing. It's like if moshing could get more violent. It is literally just people beating each other up. It is so scary. I absolutely... Because, like, moshing, at least if you get dragged in, the etiquette is pick them up. If they don't want to be there, get them out safely. But this is literally, like, people ripping their T-shirts off and just pounding each other. It's just... And Matt's just watching these videos like, yeah, my dude! And I'm like, this looks... I just hit my headphones there. I'm so sorry. I'm panicking.
That's right.
And it looks so stressful. I don't understand that. That's gone beyond, like, this cool primal woo to, like... Holy shit, these people are actually going to hurt themselves.
Yeah, like, why don't they just go to karate or martial arts instead and channel that anger properly? Like, I just don't...
I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, you're right. There's clearly stuff there that wants to be worked out, but just not a better
Not a gig.
way. But it's the thing. And he'll show me these shows where, like, you can actually get up on the stage with the band and people are, like, punching each other on stage and jumping into the crowd and... Oh, it's just carnage. I don't... If anyone's into this, like, proper hardcore stuff, please explain to me why, because it goes from being fun to just puts me on edge.
Yeah, I think, like... I think it sounds... Do you know what? It sounds similar to... Nath and I used to watch a lot of UFC. So UFC is the fighting in the octagon. And it sounds like a primal version of that.
You're probably not far off, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, I don't mind watching, like, martial arts and UFC and stuff. There's certain skill to it, isn't there? But street fights and stuff, I'm like, come on, guys, just... What are you doing?
It's just a brawl, isn't it? Like, there's no...
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm with you. I'm naturally, like, the least violent or aggressive person ever. So I guess it just fascinates me because it's not something that I've ever been drawn to. So it's like watching a documentary, like, why are these people wanting to hurt each other? I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't fully get it. I understand with, like, martial arts. I've done martial arts myself. I understand there's a certain kind of... There's a certain thrill to it, but it's not something I'd actively go out of my way to go to a gig to smash someone's face in.
Plus there's the whole, like, martial arts, it's all about discipline, and there's much more to it than just... beating the shit out of someone. yeah. I don't fully understand it. It makes me want to interview these people and be like, so why? Are you okay? Blink twice if you're in trouble.
Yeah. Are you feeling all right, hun?
Yeah, it's like, just... I mean, I love that people enjoy it and have fun. It's just very much not for me.
Yeah, same. I just, I can't fathom it. I can't fathom it.
No, thank you.
We've really gone on a tangent here, haven't we?
Yeah, I can't remember what the original point was.
Me neither.
That happens, that's okay.
Yeah, me neither.
Talking about fashion and then your party in a prison.
Oh my God. Another, I suppose I can say this embarrassing story. Full of embarrassing stories today. So, do you remember there was a film and it was about 5 builders who went over to Germany and then turned into strippers, and I can't remember what it was called. And they used to...
I've never heard of this before.
Oh my God, I need to Google this.
That was... Again, I never know
this.
what you're going to say.
And basically, there was a song, right? And it was like, I believe in miracles.
Okay, I know the
Where
song.
you from? You're crazy thing. Yeah, no one needs to hear me singing like that. So this song was the song in the film that it was called Full Monty, that was it. And
Oh, right, yes. Okay, I've never seen it, but right, I know the one you're on about now.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to watch some middle-aged men stripping, that's basically the storyline there.
I've watched worse.
So have I, because my dad and his mates stripped to this song.
Oh, no!
One Christmas party. Yes.
Oh, no!
Down to their pants.
No! Oh, no.
And people think they've had trauma in their lives.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I was, again, preteen. It was embarrassing.
Oh, I mean, would that ever not be embarrassing, though?
No, it's always going to be embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bless him. They all thought it was hilarious because they loved... This is probably where I get my piss taken from. They loved, as a gang of dads, they loved to annoy us kids by taking the piss. So I think that's what it was like they all ganged together to take the mickey. And as an adult, it is funny. And, you know, if that song comes on and my nephews are there, who knows? I might do a little... Get a load of middle-aged women to do a dance with me. Just to embarrass them.
Oh my God, the future generations of your family.
Oh God. They're, well, bless them. Destined to have naughty things. Like, I don't know. I'll probably talk to them about poo, to be honest.
Oh, kids love talking about poo, though.
Yeah, they do. And farts. Farts are always funny, though, aren't they? Farts are always going to be funny.
Are funny.
Yeah, I do too.
I used to... Oh, sorry.
No, carry on.
It's a poo story. So I used to do years ago. just letting you know. I used to do after-school science clubs for kids in primary school. And, you know, it was so much fun. It was just unfortunate that I couldn't really do it full time. Each week would have a different theme about the sciences. So one week it would be Space Week, and then we'd have dinosaurs. And my favourite week, because I'm quite unshockable. It takes a lot to actually render me utterly speechless. We've had a few examples in this podcast, but generally it takes a lot. So my favourite week was always human biology.
Yeah.
We talk a bit about breathing, a bit about blood, and then I'd gather them all round and be very serious and say, right, children, I am going to have to ask that you are all extremely mature and grown up, because now we're going to have to talk about poo. And they would just all immediately be like, it's a poo. And it was really fun, because after they all kind of giggled, I would then say, right, I want all of your poo-related questions. There is nothing you can ask me that I have not been asked before about poo. And they'd all find it really funny. But then actually, after a minute or two, they'd be really thinking about stuff. And it was just like, it was so nice to see them thinking, actually, it is a normal thing. Everyone does it. I've got a question. But there was one lad, bless his little heart, who was really thinking about something, put his hand up and said, Miss, if a mummy is pregnant, how does the food not fall on the baby? And I said, that's a really good question. But your food goes into your stomach, which is a different place from where your mum is growing her baby. And then you could see him thinking really hard. And he just says very quietly, but how did the baby get there? And I just had to go, right, moving on! Can't do this talk, I'm afraid. I mean, good questions, but
Yeah.
that is a whole nother lesson.
Yeah, that's a whole different lesson. No, I think like poos and farts are funny, but always funny. Sometimes me and Nath, this is so gross, sorry if you're eating. But basically, sometimes Nath will fart at me in bed, and then I laugh and then fart back. So we end up having like a little farting conversation in bed.
I love that though. That's true love right there.
The other day, this is so recent, I think it was like literally 2 or 3 days ago, he came up to me, wiggled his bum at me, and then farted on me, and then ran away giggling like a child.
Oh, you've got to get him back for that.
Oh yeah, I'm getting there. I'm obviously not just taking 3 days to brew a fart.
You're playing the long game here. I'm excited for the payoff.
Yeah. I'm eating plenty of beans.
Oh, yes.
No, I just don't know what to do to get him back, to be honest. In our old house, we used to prank each other a little bit, and once I was like snuck up the stairs, and like there was a bit of in our old house, we had quite a small hallway, and the stairs were like one way, and then to the left was the bathroom, so you couldn't, if you left the bathroom, you couldn't see what was coming up the stairs. So I crept up the stairs and was laid quite flat, and then I heard him coming out of the toilet, and I just jumped out and was like, rah! And then Nath's 6'3", right? And he jumped and squealed like a little girl, and it was so funny. He was like, ah! And like, you know, when your limbs, when you're so scared, you don't know where your limbs are going.
Just gonna flail, don't you?
I was crying with laughter.
Oh, poor Nathan.
Oh,
He
man.
does put up with a lot of shit, doesn't he?
I mean, he gives me a lot of shit as well, but yeah.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, it's all fair in love.
Have I told you that Matt speaks in his sleep?
Oh yeah, I think you have told me this.
Oh god, it's so creepy. Like sometimes it's quite funny, but sometimes he'll say things that are genuinely a bit upsetting. Have I told you his most recent one? Me and Matt, we love horror. We play a lot of horror games. We watch a lot of horror movies. So honestly, probably it's partly our fault for consuming all this scary media and then just going, right, night. Like, no wonder he chats creepy shit in his sleep. But he was just, fucking creep. I was awake, I got up for a wee, come back, was nodding off, and he just very quietly is going, just laughing under his breath. And sometimes he can sort of talk back to him and it settles him down a bit. So I was like, what's funny? And then he just says, his hands are beneath you. And I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, I don't like it. No, I know, horrible, right? Absolutely. I mean, half the time he chats shit about like dinosaurs and fun things, but every once in a while he'll say something genuinely really creepy.
That's so fucking creepy. I'd have been checking under the bed, under the mattress, under the sheets, everything.
Oh, you're braver than me. Like... I just hid. I couldn't move.
We've been watching that Sam and Colby on YouTube.
Okay.
And they weren't believers of like spirits and stuff. And then they went to the Queen Mary in America and then had a massive experience there and then started investigating a bit more. Now, this is something you guys need to watch as well. However, watch a fuck ton of something happy after, because Nath did the same. We watched a few Sam and Colby's like throughout the day over the weekend when we were both off. And then we went to bed and he couldn't sleep because he was having like nightmares about
Oh no.
being in these like haunted houses with Sam and Colby. Because he's like, Nate's not sure if he believes too much of it. And like some of it, like, you know, some of it obviously is there for entertainment purposes, but it's not
it's
as
kind
entertainment.
of dramatised, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, but not as dramatised as the Ghost Adventurers one with Zach.
Oh,
I can't remember his name. Yeah. So, Nate's like, was like, oh, well, you know, it's all right. I'm watching this being all like manly about it, and then got to bed and he was like, I'm so scared. I'm like, go to sleep, it's fine. She's not coming to get you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're safe, don't worry.
Yeah, you're safe, hon.
It's so weird. Me and Matt, like, we can watch really, really horrible, like, depraved, grim horror movies. But anytime he tries to watch true crime, that really bothers him.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not... I'm not bothered. I guess because I've always had, again, degree in criminal psychology. I've always been so interested in it.
Yeah.
I get, probably even in a bad way, you almost forget that they are real people and real things happened, don't you?
Yeah.
Whereas maybe it's just because he's not heard all these cases before. He's kind of hearing them fresh and sinking in. I don't know, but I can't play horror games. If we play a game, he's got to play it and I kind of hide. They bother me. But then true crime really bothers him.
Weird, isn't it? Like, I'm not the biggest fan of horror. My sister can, like, sit and watch horror and eat a ham sandwich, no problem. But I can't do, like, fictional horror. But then certain true crime I can. That Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Dahmer,
I watched,
yeah.
Yeah, I watched 10 minutes of that and was like, absolutely fucking not. This is too far for me.
Oh, that was intense, though. We've watched 3 or 4 episodes and we've still not come back to it.
Yeah.
I struggled with that.
Yeah, I found that, like, really too much. But then, like, other stuff like Unsolved Mysteries or something like that on Netflix, I quite like that kind of thing. But I can't watch too much of it because then I find myself a bit, not agitated. It kind of makes me a little bit, like, miserable.
Yes.
So I kind of have to break it up with, like, Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
you can tell when I've watched something scary because that's when I'll then be spamming you with all the TikToks of cats and dogs doing cute stuff.
Yeah. I've not been on there in ages, actually. I like dip in and out of that of TikTok, but then Instagram is where I spend my most time.
Yeah, I never used to be on Instagram as much, but I think recently it's like the creative media of choice. But it actually is. Like, everyone I work with has got a personal Instagram, their professional Instagram. Like, people... I don't know about you, but I'm finding people aren't using Facebook. But it's because we were talking about poo earlier. Facebook nearly as much as it used to be. And Instagram's definitely overtaking now in terms of social media usage.
I think it's a generational thing now. So my mum and dad use Facebook a lot.
Okay.
And use Instagram a little bit and haven't heard of TikTok. And then I use Instagram a lot and a little bit of TikTok. And then the likes of my cousin who's 17, 18, she likes TikTok and Be Real more than Instagram. So I think it's almost like a generational thing. But also... You are right about the creative thing because it's a free marketing tool, isn't it?
Yeah. 100%.
So it can kind of, you can send people your Instagram and be like, there's the view of a selection of my work without you. I mean, I've got a website as well, but it's a quick, easy way of showing you work.
Yeah. It's like an online portfolio, isn't it?
Yeah, they're the words I was looking for. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm starting off with Chronic Cutie. I'm just on Instagram at the moment. I'm putting up pictures of stuff as I make it. It's just a lot easier to start with, at least, than trying to piece together a website from scratch.
Yeah. I mean, like, I use, I think it's Format, and there's Squarespace and stuff as well. But,
yes,
like, if you don't want to delve straight into that, Instagram's a nice, gentle way of selling, and you can always put a big cartel on where I think you can get big cartel for free for 10 products or something.
Cool.
Quite a lot of the tattoo artists use them.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so you can just put up like a few bits, and then that's a good way of doing it as well. But it's just a free marketing tool, and I think that's where some of Instagram, where it's the influencers on it, it's almost gone too far for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm in that middle ground where like I like to see a couple of influencers, but I don't want to be sold loads of shit.
Yes. I've recently done a big cull of who I follow, and I've just kind of curated all my creators and influencers that I follow now, that they're all like, no shade on influencers, because that's amazing, good for you, well done for it paying off, but they're all people who actually do things that I personally am interested in. It's the fashion I want to choose, and I've got rid of all the negativity because I just wasn't feeling it. Instagram is now my happy place. It's colourful, it's diverse, it's inclusive, and I just quite like browsing it now.
Yeah, I think I quite like using it as inspiration as well. It's quite good.
Yes.
And, seeing what other people have got, what they've been shooting, what they've been styling. I like some of these outfit ones, but I'm following more women who are similar size to me now than people who were smaller, because it's hard to envisage what stuff would look like on you if you're then going to go and buy it. So yeah, I'm similar. Like, I go through mine every couple of months and I'm like, oh, I don't need that, I'll get rid of that.
Yeah, good for the soul.
Yeah, definitely. And it should be a happy place, especially because it can be so dark at times, can't it? So it should be a happy place to kind of disassociate a little bit from the outside world.
That's what it's for.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Oh, Em, it's been so lovely to chat to you today.
Thank you.
It's been so
I feel
nice.
like we have covered a good variety.
I think we have too. And sorry, Mum, about your poncho collection, but
justice for your mum's ponchos. I think that's what I'm taking away from this.
Yeah. If anyone wants to send my mum a poncho, I'll send you her way. Let's cut the middleman out, because I won't send them on. Poor woman.
I feel so bad for her.
She dresses so nice, and then she puts a fucking poncho on top of it.
Again, let's get that leopard print poncho. You'll change your mind.
Yeah, let's twist my arm. I'm sure there's one ugly enough there that I'll enjoy. Oh, well, it has been an absolute dream chatting to you today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And
thank you for having me.
It's been lush. And I will link in your Chronic Cutie Instagram onto the episode as well, so that people can go and check you out over there and hopefully buy some lovely little things from you.
Hey, thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
No worries. Right, I shall see you soon. I think tomorrow, actually.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, my love. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please rate, follow and share, as it really helps this little podcast out. And if you have found value in the podcast and you have the means to, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes. This will help keep the podcast going. Join me next week for another fantastic guest. Bye.